Hey friends. it seems that every, I don't know, 100 video posts or so, maybe, I'm not keeping track, but every once in a while, I just sit down and for some reason feel incredibly compelled to play the blues. Not sure what that's about. Although, on another interesting note, my piano technician found this in my piano today, which may explain why my G above middle C was buzzing like crazy. Sounded like somebody was like banging a pot against the inside of the piano. And apparently this flashlight has been there for years, because I've had this technician ever since the piano was moved here, and he's never found it. Anyway, in other news, my ongoing sort of like, I feel like my video posts over the last few weeks and maybe even kind of longer, a couple months, has been like my report card on the injuries that I've sustained. I've been talking about this wrist injury in my right wrist for quite a while. And if you followed any of my posts for the last 6 weeks or so, you've probably heard me talk about, you know, what has been happening as a matter of releasing energy in my body and emotion and even almost like, it's like by releasing an old injury, I'm also manifesting, or at least inviting, circumstances around me to remind me of the time when I sustained this injury, so that for whatever reason, this is part of the healing process, I can relive these traumas that are sort of baked into my body with the, hopefully, the outcome that they can actually be transcended and the information can be integrated. You know, this is the thing about trauma, is that we get injury and we get trauma baked into our body, but if it's not conscious, then it's not accessible knowledge. It's inaccessible knowledge. It's wisdom. It's like a growth opportunity that we don't get to realize because we've pressed it, we've pushed it into our subconscious or our unconscious, where it can't really communicate with us. So it's like we're sitting on these little depth charges that both unleash a certain amount of chaos in our lives, because they sort of, their job is to bring us back to the state when we received the trauma, so that we can hopefully cope with that state in a more productive way than we did originally. You know, the way that trauma got there was through some sort of either externally imposed injury or something we did. I think in my case, it's probably self-inflicted, a lot of it. And we bake that trauma into our body to get it out of our consciousness, to get it away from our conscious mind, where it's causing havoc and creating feelings of danger and pain and whatever. So I've had a lot of that coming up over the past few weeks. Then, like 2 days ago, I'm running up a mountain, you know, contributing to the health of my body, getting a workout, getting some fresh air, doing what I love, and I fall on my face because I'm going too fast and I'm out of shape, and I shouldn't be running this fast because my legs feel like lead, and I'm running across a mountain. It was actually pretty flat. It was the top of the mountain. I got to the top of the mountain, got all the way up there safely, and then started running across the top with really no business doing that, because I couldn't get my feet up enough to get over the rocks, so I plant myself on the ground. And I came out of that going, ugh, why? Why am I kicking my own ass? And even just a day or two in, a day or two after that, two things are true. One, I'm healing way faster than I thought I would. I had this shoulder twinge the day after that injury, the day of the injury, and then yesterday, the day after. And I was like, man, this hurts. I could tell it wasn't like a structural kind of like dangerous injury, but it was not a pleasant thing to feel in my body. And on top of that, I was kind of carrying like this psychological, emotional baggage of feeling like I had been really unkind to myself. Just feeling like, you know, I love going running in the mountains. I love arriving at the top of a mountain. I love being in the fresh air and the sunlight and seeing the sky and the view and the rocks. But I was driving myself so hard that I didn't even really have time to enjoy that. And ultimately, I like literally fell on my face. I was pushing myself so hard that I caused an injury. Because I caused a kind of breakdown and then an injury. Hilariously, the day before, my car had broken down. It's like when the universe is trying to tell us something, it really tends to do whatever it takes to get the point across. Like if it's time for us to receive a lesson, we're gonna receive that lesson. And as I was saying, 2 days on from that fall, which really took the wind out of me, no pun intended, for the first, 24 hours or so, certainly the rest of that day, I just felt like I had been beat up. Like I almost had the feeling like I was a kid in elementary school who got beat up on the playground or something. I felt so pummeled by myself, right? Like I did it to myself. But I was doing it to myself from an unhealthy place of unconscious programming. So, you know, there could be traces of previous trauma or experience in that. And what I've come to after these 2 days is, as intense as that experience was, as unpleasant as it was, I feel like I'm moving through something. I've had energy to do a creative project over the last day or two to reach out to some people in a new way and just be a little more alive. You know, so it's hard to say I'm glad I fell on my face, because I'm not. But I am on one level. There is a level on which I see a really beautiful and elegantly delivered lesson in that experience. And so there I am. So that I actually am sort of glad I fell on my face. Because there's stuff that needs to be faced. No pun intended, again, haha. Hopefully it doesn't all just hit me in the face. Hopefully I get to ingest it in a slightly more healthy way. But, you know, so maybe that's where the blues comes from. I don't know. Maybe the blues is like, you know, the blues has this history as being as taking experiences that are so painful and traumatic that I can't even imagine them, and turning them into an enthusiastic expression of life, of love. So whenever the blues comes out of me, I kind of watch. I kind of have to look, okay, where's that coming from? That's where I am today, folks. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll tune in again.